So you both have sort of different perspectives on things. You're like a doctor and you're a stand-up comic.
Right.
Like, how is it? I mean, obviously those two skills together, you know, having people have different perspectives, you know, fuels the fire, so to speak. So you may not be thinking of something that she's thinking of. Like, I think that's interesting.
Well, yeah, and
it works.
We and it's funny because our thing, you know, it's kind of like, I don't. It might sound lofty or whatever, but you know, like you know, with Gates and Steve Jobs and a lot of other, you know, people kind of fell into a lot of it. You know what I mean? Now, so I mean, you know, she's been doing her thing forever, and I've been doing my thing. But we really believe we're all artists, and I think entrepreneurs, no matter what the gig is an artist's take on,
Right.
you know, because you're swimming
something.
upstream. Now, I'm not gonna work for General Electric. I'm gonna, you know, make the you know, the Google or something or whatever it is. So you have to have an artistic type of a vision, and so the creative mind, you know. So yeah, Doc may have the paperwork, a lot of paperwork and stuff like that, but you know, like the first program we did was her vision, you know what I mean? But she's the one who's very organized as far as, you know, and then I'm the one who's always improvising, as you can see.
But it works in many ways, especially when we're doing programs for kids or at schools, because we both connect with audiences in different ways. So I think the way he connects with people, the way I connect with people, kind of gives us a chance to reach a much bigger audience, which is what we ultimately want in the end.
Right.
So I think that the synergy together ends up working.
Right.
It's sort of like a co-founder type situation where, like, you know, some artists, like, they're so busy doing their work that they can't get to the other part of it, like the business end of it and like the paperwork.
Right.
So I think that's really important. Like, you know, Van Gogh and all these artists didn't put out anything really. They were just like doing their work and like,
Which,
you know what I mean?
which I would love to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
yeah, I can't wait for that day to come.
Yeah.
And I've tried that. You can't pay your rent with vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I tried to go in a couple of times. Hey, yeah, this stuff will be worth money after I die. No, it doesn't. And business. And the thing about being an artist that you're trying to go into a business sense is the thing about, like, I don't want to know whatever true artist is about, but I say what a true artist is we artists, our biggest joy is doing the work, right? So you can, and so that's why a lot of times you don't have to pay us for anything or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you go to and so to link up and to do business, even from Doc's side, because Doc, even though she's the writer and all this other stuff, we never thought in a business sense.
That's right.
And we both never thought about making money. You didn't tell them, like, when you wrote books, you didn't.
Yeah, well, I was going to, a book that was a big inspiration to us was Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. And one of her big points is that you don't have to buy into the myth of the starving artist.
Right.
You really can believe that your work is worthwhile and it's worth making money from your work as well. And
Right.
I think a lot of artists have to sort of change that mindset and come to believe that your work really is worth something and that you can monetize it and you can really ask for other people to pay for it. And that's a valid thing to do. I know that was a big lesson for me, I think for you also.
Well, yeah, because I moved up here, I was like, I want to be good. You know, that was my thing. I want to be good. I want to leave a joke or two. That's, you know, but you can be good and be broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a lot of
right.
good people. There's a lot of, you know, guys and women who haven't made it to the pros. And as far as athletes, you know, you might even know some where you grew up with people who were super, super talented, but for whatever reason, haven't figured out how to make money.
Right.
And we're not here to make money because we want to make money so we can make art. But
Right.
also, you know, having the money aspect taken care of. Am I saying that right? Doc, she fixes my sentences for me. Also make you be able to do the job that you want to do. And the thing about and then our thing about being an entrepreneur, we didn't find any investors or anything like that. Because what we do is, or at least the way we're doing it is so unique. So we don't really, remember when I met you, it was like, that's why I say just look at the website, because it's not, you know, we don't really kind of fit into any mode, because, you know, we're doing programs with her book, but then also we have a comedy program where I come up and do my stand-up, because I have the, you know, I don't want to say the political bent, but the life bent. And then Doc shows where
like the history of politics and comedy coming together, and
especially
Ephesians.
especially of people of color and stuff. We have that. Then, I'm working at a charter schools where I portray parents and teachers in different scenarios, and then we got Robeson there, we got James Baldwin there. So these aren't things that you can just say, well, this is what we do and this is what we charge, because it's a thing that's really forming it on its own, and
relationships with different groups and what they need. We see a need and we try to bring a program that will work for them and inspire their students. And
I do a lot of scenario-based training work, which I did with NYPD for 13 years. Talking about a tough crowd. And but the thing is that you scenario-based training, you need that everywhere now. And even in new businesses, look what we're going through now with sexual, the sexual harassment and allegations. HR has been around forever, but obviously the old model's not working, right? So you need to. This is where we could come in. At least one wing of what we do is, we could do scenario-based training where we could show guys and gals who you may think is appropriate is really not appropriate, or where you might think as funny is not funny and stuff like that. Because just having HR hasn't been working. But we do know at the heart of what we do is we're all about the arts. And there's so many things that we have planned to do. But it's also about education, because what interested me when we met was like from what I remember is having companies that are actually not just churning things out to make money, but also adding. I like to say add to the circle of life. So that's why we do what we do, and that's why you have us here. But if you'd have met us 2 years ago, you wouldn't have had us here. Yeah.
To really be addressing like a core problem in either society or like business is really an important thing.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
is. I mean, and we. And then for us, we don't have any model to say what the prices are and stuff like that.
But we work with people.
Yep.
And because schools, the places where we work, often schools, public libraries, community centers, they don't always have a lot of money. And we feel like what we're doing is important. We still want to get it out there, So we kind of work with people on an individual basis in that way. Because we feel like it's always important to get the work out there, to talk with the people, to bring the dialogue, even if we're not always, monetizing it in a big way. Those communities they still need to be served,
And as I'm sure that when you're starting when you're just starting. So you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to. A lot of times it's just, and I know this from my stand-up and acting career. You just got to be out there. You know what I mean? Like
making those relationships.
Right, like the night we met, luckily we came there, even though we came with the town hall side, but then we met you, and then we said, wow, look what he's doing and whatever, and then there's someone that can actually gives us a platform to actually kind of talk about what we do and what we, without trying to sum it up like you say, like with the sales pitch, because we don't have a sales pitch, and we're still in our infancy too. You know what I mean? I mean, now the stand up, I can tell you, are you, what kind of comedy you do? Funny. That's what it's like. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's what, right? And I'm 9 times out of 9.5 out of 10 times I'm gonna make you laugh.